Cheers. New chairs, huh? Spending some of our money. Chairs lower than I thought it was. All right, that's good. Let's see. What are we gonna put on first?
Yeah, this one. You gotta stand up. We'll go automatically. Left first.
You ready, right? Okay. Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Planning Advisory Board meeting of November 14th, 2024. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Board Member Warner.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening, and Secretary Byrne, please call the roll.
Chairman Stanko.
Here?
Member DiLeonardo.
Here.
Member Tribina.
Here.
Member Warner.
Here.
Member Castellane.
Here.
Member Byrne is present. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Okay. Format for the meeting includes a presentation from the applicant or applicants, questions and comments that the board members may have, and then any interested parties may speak on the application. And we ask that anyone who addresses the board to come forward and speak from the podium, and please state your name and address for the record. We have two items this evening, and one item, 80 Jericho Turnpike, Jericho, New York, asked for an extension. The applicant is seeking a site plan approval from Planning Advisory Board in accordance with the town's site design standards. This site plan application involves proposed seasonal and year-round outdoor staging, storage, and vehicle rentals for an existing retail business with associated site improvements, and they will be ready, we think, by the December meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Second item is 320 Central Avenue in Bethpage, New York, 11714, originally advertised as the applicant is seeking a site plan approval from the Planning Advisory Board. In accordance with the town's site design standards, this site application plan involves the demolition of two commercial buildings, 300 Central Avenue, 1,992.3 square feet, and 320 Central Avenue, 2,251 square feet, and the construction of a two-story, 16,003 square foot place of worship with associated site improvements, and the proposed use for the subject property is a permitted use according to Chapter 246, Table 5.2 of the Code of the Town of Oyster Bay. The board will render a decision on the above application. Please note, the public is welcome to attend this meeting. However, there will be no testimony taken by the board. At the July 18, 2024 Planning Advisory Board meeting, the board adopted a motion to close the public portion of the meeting and leave the record open for 30 days for the public to comment. All of the testimony given during the aforementioned meeting, as well as the correspondence received, will be considered by the board prior to rendering their decision. And did we receive any correspondence?
We did, Chairman, and all the board members received all of the correspondence as well as the applicant.
Okay. So with that, I will entertain a motion on this application.
I make a motion to deny.
Motion is made to deny. Secretary Byrne? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second. Board Member Warner?
Okay. On the motion to deny by Member Castellane, seconded by Member Warner, Chairman Stanko,
Aye.
Member DiLeonardo.
Aye.
Member Tribina.
Aye.
Member Warner.
Aye.
Member Castellane.
Aye.
Member Byrne is aye. Chairman, the motion passes.
Okay.
Deny the application.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience in waiting. Appreciate it. We have a second application, 83 Luddy Street in Hicksville, New York, 11801. The applicant is seeking a site plan approval from the Planning Advisory Board in accordance with the town's site design standards. This site plan approval involves proposed interior expansion of an existing place of worship, an existing building, with parking lot alterations and associated site improvements. The use for the subject property is permitted use pursuant to Chapter 246, Table 5.2 of the Code of the Town of Oyster Bay. Is there anyone to speak on this application?
Chairman, we have some correspondence.
Oh,
you don't mind?
correspondence first? Okay, thank you.
We have a memo from the zoning division dated March 22nd, 2024, stating the subject property located at 83 Luddy Street, Hicksville, New York, 11801, has a Nassau County land and tax map designation of Section 46, Block 634, Lot 2, and is located within the LI Light Industry zoning district. We have a memo from the Department of Environmental Resources dated July 31st, 2024, classifying this project as a Type 2 for the purposes of SECRA. We have a memo from the Code Enforcement Bureau dated March 27, 2024, stating that there are no code cases on the subject property. Since the memo is dated, we did check with Code Enforcement this week, and there are still no open code cases. We have a memo from the Department of Public Works Highway Division dated March 28, 2024, and the Engineering Division dated July 12, 2024, stating they have reviewed the site plans and have no objections. We have a memo from the Nassau County Planning Commission dated October 22nd, 2024, recommending local determination for this project. We have a memo from the Planning Division dated October 29th, stating that the required parking for the subject property is 682 parking spaces and 116 parking spaces have been provided. We have a memo from the Planning Division dated October 29, 2024, stating that the division has conducted a review in accordance with Chapter 246, Section 6, Site Plan Review of the Code of the Town of Oyster Bay, and is referring the site plan to the Planning Advisory Board for appropriate action. And we have the affidavit of sign posting and the affidavit of mailing from the applicant.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. For the record, Philip Butler with the law firm of Forcelli, Deegan, Tirana, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard in Uniondale. Before I begin, I did send over some exhibits today, so I have them up on the screen, but I did bring hard copies if anybody would like them. So just let me know, I can hand these up.
Yeah, you can,
Okay.
we'll take.
So most of what's included in your packet are documents that are already part of the record, but I'll take the board through them as part of my presentation. So as was mentioned, the property is located at 83 Luddy Street in Hicksville. If you refer to Exhibit 1 in the materials, is an aerial image taken from Google Earth. The property is located on the south side of Luddy Street, approximately 740 feet east of South Broadway in Hicksville. Property is zoned light industrial. Luddy Street is a two-directional town road that starts on the east side of South Broadway and dead ends at the Long Island Railroad tracks to the east of the subject premises. Accordingly, all of the neighbors to the north, south, east, and west are existing industrial uses. Cozy Shack Factory is across the street. USPS Vehicle Maintenance Facility is to the east. ABC Roofing Supply is to the west, and there are other warehouse and office facilities on the street as well. Access to the nearest residential areas requires one to leave Luddy Street entirely and to either cross South Broadway to reach Rave Street, travel another 530 feet north on South Broadway to reach Murray Road, or travel 800 feet south on South Broadway to reach Mineola Avenue. So the point there being that there are no residential neighbors anywhere near this site. Going to Exhibit 2, that is a demolition plan which depicts the current conditions on the site. The subject premises is improved with a one-story warehouse building that was constructed in 1956, and it currently has parking on site for 111 vehicles and one loading space. The applicant acquired the premises in or about 2017 for a house of worship and a community center, which is currently operating as the Almaty Center. Although the existing building was and remains 40,000 square feet roughly, the center ended up only occupying 25,000 square feet. The remaining 15,000 square feet was kept as warehouse space and later converted to self-storage. The center has operated on the premises without issue since 2017. As Mr. Byrne just mentioned, there's been no complaints filed by any neighbors, and there are no violations on record. In fact, the center has extremely positive relationships with its neighbors, specifically ABC Roofing, Cozy Shack, USPS, and also Patel Brothers, located on the corner of South Broadway and Ludi Street. ABC, Cozy Shack, and USPS all issued letters in support of this application, which I've provided at Exhibit 7 in your materials. On October 12th of this year, the Almaty Center hosted the Faith and Blue Festival, which was a community event dedicated to building relationships between law enforcement and the Muslim community. That event was attended by Nassau County Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder, as well as County Legislator Rose Walker, who both were there and toured the site and met the congregants. In terms of the operations, the center is active on 3 days each week. The center offers religious services Thursday evenings from approximately 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and on Friday afternoon. The center also provides religious educational services for 3 hours from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. on Sundays. The center generally does not provide religious or educational services Monday through Wednesday, nor during the daytime on Thursdays. These hours make the center very compatible with the surrounding uses that are generally quiet when the center is active. The only exception is during the holy month of Ramadan, when religious services are expanded and more frequent. However, those services also take place in the evenings. The application before the board tonight seeks to expand the Almaty Center into the remaining 15,000 square feet of the existing building. Going to Exhibit 5. I said it's terrible. That provides the existing and proposed floor plans, and the 15,000 square feet to be occupied is highlighted in blue on both of those plans. At present, the center consists of 2 large prayer rooms surrounded by various classrooms and offices. There's also an existing commercial kitchen and a library. The proposal calls for the expansion and reconfiguration of the center within the existing building. The center will offer the same religious and educational services within the same hours of operation, just in newer and more convenient facilities. Specifically, the classrooms that are used on Sundays are very small and very cramped, and they're also arranged around the prayer rooms where parents will stick around while their kids are in religious instruction. It's a little distracting to have classroom activities going on around you. So this will allow them to relocate the classrooms to the rear of the building, put the library back there, and have the prayer areas kind of segregated in the front of the building. As you will see from the floor plans, most of the additional space will be occupied by a 7,900 square foot multi-purpose room, which will be used in connection with the Sunday school. The rest of the added area will be classrooms, offices, and storage space. Going back to exhibits, I'll go to Exhibit 2, which is the demolition and alignment plan. You can see that the modifications to the site are extremely minor. They consist of the restriping and addition of parking spaces, which will total 117 under the current proposal, the addition of a trash enclosure, modifying some existing curbs, repaving the parking lot, and removing 2 at-grade HVAC assemblies. Also, as shown on the landscape plan, which is at Exhibit 4, the center will be adding code-compliant vegetated screening around the perimeter, which will include 7 additional shade trees. Doug Castellano is here this evening with North Coast Civil. He can take the board through these improvements in more detail after I'm done, if the board would like to hear more about them. Finally, with respect to Exhibit 6, these are some elevations of the proposed building. Again, the building footprint is not changing, but they do plan to dress up the outside of the building and add some fenestrations to allow some additional light into the prayer rooms. Before I conclude, I do want to address the elephant in the room, which of course is the parking. So when the center opened back in 2017, it was compliant with its parking requirement because the parking ratio required was less before 2022 when the ratios were amended. The center operates at different times, so it was able to show that the religious services did not overlap with the Sunday school, and therefore there was no competition in parking between those 2 aspects of the center. And finally, the center wasn't occupying the full footprint of the building. So under the proposed plan, as I mentioned, they will be having 117 spaces on site. Unfortunately, the code currently requires 693 spaces, so we will be seeking a large variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals for 576 spaces. The number is large because it is driven by the public assembly areas within the building, which again don't compete with each other, but they do create a very large parking demand. I think Mr. Byrne, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the calculation is 1 per 50 square feet, or something along those lines. Practically speaking, however, the center does not require anywhere near this number of parking spaces, and it hasn't, and I think that's evident by the fact that there has never been a complaint about parking or parking overflow, and that's for several reasons. First of all, the number that's provided based on the town code doesn't account for the way that the building is used. Unlike a traditional church where you have pews or even tables or chairs, these prayer rooms are set out with personal mats, so you don't have people occupying as little space as you might in a church. So not as many people are occupying the prayer rooms at the same time. You also don't have the multi-purpose room is going to be used at the same time as those prayer rooms. So right there, you have a discrepancy between the number and how the facility is actually used. In addition to that, the center only sees a peak in parking demand during one time of year, which is the holy month of Ramadan. And during those times when there is a spike in the need for on-site parking, they're able to use Ludi Street because, again, they're usually active when the other businesses are closed, but also because of the relationship they have with their neighbors. The neighbors have, I'll say, an unofficial agreement with them to allow them to use their parking. So several of the neighbors around there allow them to use their parking lots when they are closed. We, in fact, have a written license agreement from one of the neighbors, being ABC Roofing, which I provided at Exhibit 8 in your materials. And I believe that's for an additional 20 spots. So again, I just want to repeat that there's never been a complaint about the parking and there's no open violations. And I think that addresses most of my comments for the board. At this point, I will call up either, I should also mention, we did submit a parking study prepared by Mulryan Engineering. So if the board would like to hear from either Mr. Castellano on the civil aspects of the project or from Mr. Mulryan on the parking, we invite the board's comments.
Just want to ask about the, is it a second floor?
No.
So explain the new addition, like, I'm looking at what number, well, it's A3 that's in front of me.
So you're talking about the pitched roof in the front there?
Yes. Right now, is the building is
Flat roof.
Yes,
So that would be over the prayer rooms, if I'm not mistaken, and that's basically to let in light. There's no second story, there's no mezzanine. It's literally to raise the ceiling, because right now they're operating in a 1956 industrial building with lower ceilings.
So it's enclosed 4 sides with a roof?
Correct.
So how do you get up there? Can you get up there, or is it just open
It's
ceiling?
open ceiling up to the roof, right?
Okay.
Like how you'd have like in a church or a synagogue, just a
Okay.
high ceiling to let in light.
Okay.
Because like I
All
said,
right.
it's a 1956 building, very low ceilings. They're trying to make it more conducive to,
And that runs from the front of the building to the rear?
no, just the area that you can see in the,
Just there?
Right.
Okay, all right.
right, so it's over the 2 prayer rooms that are in the front of the building. If you look at the floor plans,
Not
you
over the
can see them.
classrooms or anything? Or
No.
No, okay.
That's correct? Yeah, that's what I thought.
With the
There's
addition,
also, I apologize,
ahead.
there's also no basement, by the way.
Okay, all right.
with the addition of or with the additional area that they're taking over, is there any intention of increasing the membership or the number of, I can't think of the name, religious people that are going to be there?
Right, so a fair question. So no, this isn't being done because they're seeing their numbers increase. They currently have 230 member families. I don't think I mentioned this, but on average, they only see about 50 people per service, so that's twice a week. So it's actually surprisingly low numbers, except during Ramadan. So again, this isn't being done because they're seeing their congregation grow. It's because the way it's laid out isn't exactly the most conducive for the way that they operate. They just want the additional space to provide larger classrooms for, I think they said, on average, 12 to 18 students per room. There's about 200 students that come on Sunday. Also not a high parking demand for that because the parents don't stick around for those 3 hours. They drop their kids off and they go. But in any event, it's just really to maximize the value of the space because they do own the whole building, but they haven't really been utilizing the 15,000 square feet. So this is just an upgrade.
I noticed there's 2 large HVAC units currently out there. Where are they being moved to? Inside the
That's a
building?
good
Is there
question,
facility
actually.
for that?
You mean the roof? Yeah, they're going onto the roof.
They're going out to the roof on not the new section out.
No, not the sloped section, I assume on the back build, yeah. So and of course, I know there's setback and screening requirements for roof mechanicals, so.
If somebody else wants to come up?
Well, if the board wants to hear from Mr. Mulryan or from Mr. Castellano, I mean, I'll have them come up to speak up.
Both.
Sure, okay.
Okay.
Great, so, do you want to use this?
Are the site plans on there, or should I just?
Yeah, the alignment plan is on there.
I'm not going to even use the alignment plan. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Doug Castellano from North Coast Civil, 39 West Main Street, Oyster Bay, New York. We were the civil site engineers for the project, prepared the site plans that are in front of you. I'll just start with the alignment plan. We're not changing too much on site. Again, it's an existing parking lot, but I'll go over the very minor improvements that there are. So we're keeping most of the parking that's existing. Again, removing those large HVAC systems in the back of the building, restriping some stalls in the back so they have proper dimensions and drive aisles. It's a one-way parking lot, so it's one way in, one way out. So there'll be 11 new spaces along the back, again, properly spaced. And then on the easterly side of the building, again, removing that HVAC system, fixing the curb on that side, and then restriping the stalls on that side. I think there's 9 there. Moving on to the grading and drainage, there's no real regrading. The site is what it is. But we'll talk about the drainage. So there are some dry wells on site. We did do a site visit, measured those dry wells. We're able to maintain some of them, and then we're adding some additional dry wells to make up that difference to give you a full 3-inch rainfall event storage. All utilities are to remain. That's water, gas, sewer, electric. So there's no improvements in that regard. Moving forward, we'll just talk about the landscaping quickly. So around the perimeter of the parking area is a full arborvitae screening, 6-foot on center. Those are evergreens, which will obviously grow over time, and that'll provide a nice buffer from the parking area to any neighboring properties. Even though it's not adjacent to any residential properties, it's still, I think, a nice addition. Then adding the 4-inch and greater caliper shade trees. Those will be the ginkgo bilobas. It's a native species tree, just so that we meet our minimum requirement, which is the, I think it's a total of 20, I'll tell you right now. We're adding 8 additional shade trees, and then there'll be a total of 20 total shade trees. And then the last thing that we're adding is just some smaller plantings, in the front of the building, just to fill in some of the bare areas. There are some bare areas along the roadway, so we'll be adding smaller plantings up there. The last thing I'll touch on is lighting. We're proposing a total of 9 building-mounted lights. The fixtures are 20-foot maximum. They will be dark sky compliant, short cutoff bulbs, backlight shields if necessary. But again, we did prepare a photometric plan that was submitted as part of the site plan set. That shows that it's basically 0.0 lumens at the property line, which is what the town requires, so there won't be any light spillage onto adjacent properties. That's really it for the site improvements. If there's any questions on the site engineering or layout, I'd...
The HVAC, where's that going? Roof?
Onto the roof, yeah,
Okay.
yes.
And that'll be, Scott, they have to
Screen that.
screen that? Okay.
Correct.
All right.
You're reusing the existing surface outside, the brick around it to accommodate the additions?
Yes,
The
that's,
veneer, the siding will continue around up on the same addition, so it's going to have the same brick look to it?
I believe the building will have, that's correct.
You have one sign that I remember seeing? Is there one sign on the ground sign?
I think, yes, there's one ground sign, and then there's one smaller sign by the exit. I think it's just an exit-only sign, but that's correct.
Okay, but one sign identifying the building when you come in?
There's no additional signs, right?
There's the one ground sign that's on the entryway to the parking
And
lot.
that'll just stay?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Okay.
That,
All right.
and just for the record, that sign is not on your property in the right of way, if I'm looking at this correctly.
Are you saying it's within the right-of-way?
Yeah.
That's correct.
So the town would not issue a permit, which is a requirement for the
Okay.
town to issue a permit, so they would have to move that sign.
Okay, that hasn't been brought to our attention, but obviously we'll address it with planning now that you've raised it. wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, on the alignment plan, I don't see any signage for directing the traffic into the westerly roadway entry.
So we have a label for one-way, which is, I think, the wording that will be on the asphalt, and then the directional arrows show
Yeah, but, I mean, normally, you know, you would have a sign that says entry
and, okay,
or something like that.
we can,
You know,
yeah,
and also on the other one, exit only.
Yeah.
So that people don't come down to want to get, you know, get cross-traffic on the
Understood.
site.
okay, understood. We can definitely make that.
Or I would add the word only, too, entrance only.
Yeah.
So an enter only and an exit only
Yeah.
on either side, okay, okay,
And also, I think that the sign on the easterly door that should include left turn only. Because if you make a right turn, you go to nowhere.
got it, okay, understood.
Also, is there going to be a generator associated with the building?
I don't think so. Do you guys have a plan for a generator?
No?
The answer is no.
Is it going to be landscape irrigation?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. And last but not least, I didn't see a design for the parking spaces. I know that you have a note on all the plans that it's going to be California, which is the double
The
stripe.
double, yeah,
We'd like to see a detail of that on on
Okay.
one of the plans.
understood. We can add that.
Yeah.
And it's a little tight, but you do have a snow removal plan?
Right, so there are some areas for stockpile. Essentially, it's just over the curbs in areas where they can fit it. And then in event of a major snowstorm, which hopefully doesn't happen too much anymore, they'll have to cart it off-site. That's a requirement of planning, so we'll adhere to that.
And just have a question, on the right side elevation to the new, is that a garage door that's there for access? Is that already existing for access to the building? Is that what I'm looking at?
At the rear, yeah, that's existing. That's the storage space.
Yeah,
So that's going to remain and be functional? I don't see it on the,
Yeah, so that's going to stay, so.
will that take up parking spot? Let me see. Did I miss it? Oh, that's the exit for the loading zone.
I don't think it's gonna affect any of the parking.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, it's right in the back there.
It's on the southwest corner.
I got it.
Yeah, they're not expecting large deliveries, but that loading zone is adequate for the use.
You're not doing any EV parking, right?
No, no.
What was that?
He said
What?
EV, electrical vehicle parking, with the charging
Right,
stations.
right. And no outdoor recreation for the kids? You're not planning any of that outside?
I don't think so.
No outdoor playground, no outdoor fields, nothing like that.
Any outdoor events?
I mean, they just had the Faith and Blue event, that was kind of like a little bit on the front of the property, but I mean, they don't typically throw outdoor events. The multipurpose room is going to serve as both the place for the Sunday school, and if they were to throw an event like that, maybe be in there. But no, they're not throwing like block fair, block festivals or anything like that out in the street or anything.
Yeah, okay.
Just relative to the directional signs, you should amend your sign legend also on that.
We'll add those to the sign legend. Okay, understood.
Did you say you have a kitchen? Is it just for, how's that used?
How much, is there a kitchen?
There is a current existing kitchen. We don't use it. Yeah.
Okay, but you have existing, it's there. That's going to stay where it is? Anything else the board has to, Scott? No? Okay, anything else you want to add, or?
I think that's it for our presentation. If there's any other questions, we'd be happy to answer. Otherwise, I think
Lou, you
that
good?
concludes.
Lou? You okay? Yeah.
They answered all my questions.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak on the application?
Sure, if the board would like, Mr. Mulrine can come up and address the board as to his parking analysis.
Oh, yes, please, go ahead. Yeah. You came over here, you might as well say so.
I was leaving out the door. Sean Moran, Moran Engineering, 1225 Franklin Avenue, Garden City, New York. This application is not like others, I'm sure the board has heard. The uses within the building are non-simultaneous. The applicant is looking to create a multipurpose room within the existing building. They've been at the subject site for 7 years. As Mr. Butler has mentioned, they have a very good relationship with their neighbors. This is a heavily industrial block. It's 1 block long, it's a dead end. It's not near any residential properties, and the applicant is going to use the spaces that it's expanding into at hours where the worship rooms will not be used. So the worship spaces will be getting a little bit bigger, but the bulk of this improvement is really geared towards the multipurpose room and the classrooms. Those operate on Sunday, where the religious services are at other times during the week. So we did go out and we looked at the parking on Luddy. We looked at the parking on the subject site. We also happened to take a look at the peak conditions during Ramadan and found that the site does not spill over into any areas past Ludley. Obviously, this is, again, a 1 block stretch of roadway, heavily industrial. So in the evening, parking on the street is empty. If you go there during the day, the parking on the street is empty. There's not much use for it. These are heavily commercial, heavy truck traffic type of warehouses. The site next door is the post office repair facility. So there's no activity really at the end of the block. And as you go towards the front of the block, it's very industrial. So this is a off-hours type of use. They do have prayer services on Friday, but again, they've been there for 7 years and they haven't had any issues, and they have an excellent relationship with their neighbors. So again, there's more details in the traffic engineering report, but we will need to go before the zoning board for a parking variance. So that's just a brief summary in case the board has any questions on me. I'd happy to try to answer them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have that buffer where you're going to plant the trees? Is that an existing buffer for you to plant, or are you coming in?
It's there already, yeah.
It's there
They're just gonna
already, I
put-
remember.
They're going to put vegetation into
Okay.
it. There's landscaping in front of the building, but the sides are pretty minimal.
Okay,
So that's going to be augmented, as was mentioned.
okay. Scott, anything? No? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion on this application.
I'll make a motion that we approve the site plans as submitted with the changes which were discussed here at the meeting.
Okay, second?
I second.
Second, Tony. Okay,
Okay, voting on the motion by Member Warner, seconded by Member Di Leonardo. Chairman Stanko.
aye.
Member Di Leonardo.
Aye.
Member Chabina.
Aye.
Member Warner.
Aye.
Member Castellane.
Aye.
Member Burns, aye. Chairman, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you for your presentation. Motion to adjourn? So moved. All in favor? Aye.
These were nice.
Is that Phil? Philip? Very nice.
Very nice.
It's nice to have this.
Very nice.
This is good, but it's,
tried to send it in advance, but last time I did this, the board told me it would be nice to get this in advance.
Thank you so much, the board, really appreciate it. And as president of the...
but I want to know, go ahead. Just say it, go ahead. Don't you go.
As president of the center, I would really be honored if you visited us.
Oh.
And so we'll work through Phil. It would be great for you guys to come over. We've had Rose Walker come over. Of course, Patrick Wright is our close friend of our center. He loves coming to Al-Mahdi Center. That's why we had the Faith and Blue event. And I think it's also on the Nassau County Police Department site. So we do a lot of work in the communities. We have a great welfare system where we help underprivileged or neighborhoods that are suffering in the area. We participate in the soup kitchens. We do a lot of good work in the communities.
You must have a lot of kids involved.